everybody? Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. It's your boy Rico no Suave here on a 1-2-1-2, ready to go with each and every one of you guys. Hope you guys are ready to have a great show with me today. Woo-wee. Man, I am super happy. I'm super happy to be back with each and every one of you guys. Hey, I got to bring in, you already know I got to bring in my co-host. Her name is Valerie, my last y'all. What's up, Valerie?
Hey, it's such a great day. It's such a great day.
Yes.
And we are so close to the holiday season.
Yes.
The weather was perfect today.
Yes,
I mentioned the weather. But I was excited because normally here locally where it's really, really cold this time of year.
It's nice.
It was actually really nice today.
Actually really nice.
I mean, like, really nice.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
So
I'm happy about
excited, very excited. I hope everybody's ready for a great show today.
Yes, we're
and
ready.
Enjoying your little you time with us.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in.
Exactly. All right, everybody, we're going to get ready. Let's get into our breaking news. Everybody that's actually on the radio itself, thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for actually Happy Thanksgiving!
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving! Happy Thanksgiving!
Happy Thanksgiving!
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Yes, it is a happy, happy day. Yes. And one of the things about having a happy Thanksgiving is being around your family. So we're going to bring up this photo.
Yes.
And, you know, it's all about the family, right? And
friends, close friends.
Right.
Yes.
And family, you know, family and friends, they tend to turn into family all in one, right? Because you do have, and one of the things I love about Thanksgiving is to be able to come around the table and to be able to talk, to be able to laugh, to be able to be thankful for things that, you know, that other are not fortunate. But also, I like when people actually have Friendsgiving, right? The Friendsgiving is also another great thing as well.
Friendsgiving has grown to be such a huge thing now.
Yes.
You know, so people, you know, and it's great.
Yes.
Because it makes you a point to, you know, if you've got a lot of family and a lot of friends, you can't always put them in the same place at the same time.
Yes.
You can split it up into two separate occasions, you know.
Yes.
It's the same thing, you know. Todavía hay comida, you know, you get to eat.
Yes, yes.
Pavo for everybody. You know, it's enough turkey to go around. So I just feel like it's really, really great that they have this Friendsgiving. You know, the first time I heard it, I was like, I don't know about that. But you know what I mean? But now it's like super nice, especially coming out of a pandemic.
Yes.
Like people will take social time and just wanting to be around other people.
That's right.
And hang out and just have a great time and be social.
And enjoy yourself. You know, enjoy each other's company and things like
so
that.
Much
I think that's
to be thankful
really,
for.
really good. So welcome to our Happy Thanksgiving special, everybody. This is all about some of the subjects we do want to talk about in regards to, you know, why we are grateful. Yeah, we are going to have a few commercial breaks. So, of course, if you want to grab some tea or coffee or hot cocoa,
little cocktail.
do that as well.
Cafecito.
A little cafecito, butelo.
There you go, some butelo.
Butelo.
Whatever you have brewing.
Right. So, you know, please ask questions, man. Just comment. We're going to react to your comments. We want to make sure it's really interactive. But we're going to start off with this first one. This is the reason why we are grateful. This is actually grateful for we survived the pandemic.
Yes.
You know, that's one of the things that, you know, we do talk about a lot. When it comes to the pandemic of coronavirus, I always want to say coronavirus, right? When they say that, right? It's so funny when I think Nicki Minaj is that. Oh, Cardi B, right?
Yeah. She coined that, but man,
she did that, right?
Man, so that went worldwide, though.
Oh my goodness, and that sticks in your head when you actually want to say it. But on a serious note, though, you know, people that actually survived the coronavirus, you know, it's a pandemic, and I wouldn't say it was a pandemic, but kind of like. It's a pandemic of where we couldn't even see our loved ones. It was to the fact where we were actually so separated, you know, from being around.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too was just uncertainty.
Yeah.
We didn't know what was going to happen, you know, the next day. Something that they said, okay, we're going to take a 2 weeks.
Yes.
And separate from each other, and that 2 weeks grew into months.
Yes.
And the months grew into that year.
Yes.
And, you know, now we're doing much better, but it's still around. It's not like coronavirus disappeared.
Right.
But we're functioning, and we're getting back to more of a regular society where we can be social again.
Yeah.
And it's just such a wonderful thing. I mean, they were saying today the airports were packed.
Yeah.
You know, but everybody was so happy just to be able to travel again and go see their families that they didn't care. They're like, it's fine. I'll wait in the line.
And I think, I think what happens is that, and we're going to bring up the next photo. So the next photo is, what that symbol means. And I kind of really think of this picture as
I don't mean to
scary.
laugh. I don't mean to laugh, but my daughter used to call it the big red ball.
The big red ball?
She didn't really grasp at the time what it was. She was like, what's the big red ball?
Yeah. And when I got this photo, when I saw this, I was like, I definitely have to talk about this because it was kind of like the symbolism of what the virus is, right? And also the connection as far as with the coronavirus that's affecting the world. As well. And when it affects the world, it makes a big difference in regards to how we were all affected. Now, of course,
it was scary.
Rest in peace to the people that did pass away
Yes,
as far as
absolutely.
with the coronavirus that were not able
Horrible.
to survive, the coronavirus. So what did, and the reason why I put up grateful, the reason why I say grateful that we actually survived, a lot of people look at it as, the flu. Right, a lot of people have been looking at it as a flu. A lot of people, and don't get me wrong, like myself, and we talked about the shot, we talked about the vaccine, we talked about a lot of things that was keeping us, away from getting that shot, but also just questioning it.
Right, and I want to kind of pause you right there because that is exactly what happened. The conversations. You found yourself talking about things you never thought you were going to ever have to talk about.
Exactly.
During your lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that it's the awareness and the conversations, and we now are aware of a lot more things than we were before, and you can't really close your eyes to that. And then the pandemic, and then we had the rioting and the unrest, and a lot of the things that were going around. But for me, the takeaways was also you got an opportunity to kind of pivot your life and think about what's important to you, and kind of reassess what's important to you.
And I think that's one of the points of why you can actually be grateful because of the coronavirus, right, or the pandemic. Also, keep in mind we did have pandemics before when it was like Ebola. Is it Ebola?
Yeah, but that didn't shut us down here.
Right. But it was kind of like that pre-pandemic of, we got to be careful about that. It was like something to think about, right? Something
it's still
to think
scary,
about.
nonetheless.
Right? Exactly. Yeah. And then, of course, you have the flu season. You have the pre-flu of pre-flu coronavirus, right? Pandemic of, hey, make sure you get your shot. Make sure that, you prevent yourself from catching the flu. And then also, if you think about it, when we did catch the flu, or we caught like the stomach flu, or we caught something that was really bad, like, what was that? Right? Remember the time when we actually, right before the pandemic, we was I think you came into the studio and was like, hey, I've been sweating. And I'm like, me too.
I think we were passing it back and forth to each other.
No, I think it was just more it was just one of those instances where we could have caught the coronavirus.
Maybe we
didn't
even know it.
And oh my God, it's affecting, and then all of a sudden
I remember that conversation too, because we were like, man, can't shake this. Normally a couple days we're good, and for whatever reason, just get some sleep.
2 weeks. It was like 2 weeks of sweating, and it was like, man, this is not normal, right? It was like, what is going on here? But then what did that do? That also kind of pre-planned us, like human beings, as, okay, we got to rest our body. We got to take our time.
Drink some orange juice.
And then, boom, what happened? Coronavirus, right?
But it also gave us an opportunity to look at, to us, I was like, okay, we get a little sick, it's fine, no big deal, keep it moving.
Right.
Now people get a little bit sick, and they're actually taking that time to take care of themselves and their bodies. And, it really brought wellness to the forefront.
Man, that was the number one.
Yeah.
That was number one.
Wellness just took a whole new turn as far as, how we're thinking, how we're eating.
Yes.
Wellness, actually, our mental health as well, just all around is just so much that you had to think about that I feel like we didn't always think about before.
The key points of the grateful piece of why we do what we do, as in media,
Right.
is to be aware of the surroundings, right? And, and if you're actually the audience yourself, if you want to tell us what you're grateful for in regards to the pandemic, please let us know. But I'm going to break down
We'd
some
love
points.
to hear it.
Yeah. I want to definitely break down some points that we also went through in regards to the show of meaningful, right? As far as what were we broadcasting to the audience of what we saw, right? Suicide was one, right? Suicide, we talked about that, right? Because people were actually in New York that was jumping off of their balconies because of what? Depression. Right? People were in the house, cooped up, that wasn't used to it. Like myself, I'm not used to it, right?
You did have a hard time. Real talk, you did have a hard time.
Of course.
I remember the conversations I
think we all went through that.
I mean, everybody had their own version. You know, like I was already used to working from home, so that part didn't bother me so much.
Right.
But I could see my kids struggling with school. And, my husband was the same way.
Yeah.
He was used to being on the road.
And he's always out.
Oh, my God. He's in, on the field in sales.
Yeah.
And he's like, shit, I can't go nowhere, setting up offices and, so it's like trying to find that common ground of, not losing yourself in all the chaos.
Yes.
But thankfully, and this show, you guys just come in here and, knowing that we have this platform that we can spread the awareness and be, let everybody know kind of what we're going through because they're going through it too.
Exactly.
I'm super grateful for that.
I think one of the things that the pandemic also taught, a lot of people was the health and wellness and also the mental stability to get to know themselves. A lot of people didn't really know themselves until they were cooped in a house for close to almost a year. Right? And I have to say, being in a house and being cooped up for a year. Now, there were some people that said, man, forget the coronavirus. I'm going outside. I'm going to do my thing. And I wind up riding the streets and seeing parties in the street.
You know what?
And I'm like, that's life, right? There's nothing you can do about that, right? There's nothing that you can actually...
There were still those that partied out there.
Of course.
And did their thing.
Of course.
But I agree with you. It was a hard look at yourself and a reassessment, like I mentioned before.
Yes.
Reassessing what's important to you. What are you doing? And sometimes those reflections are pretty hard.
Right.
It's not always an easy thing to do.
And it's hard to be able to, and the few things that we did, and we kind of also joked a little about, to be able to give people, some of our audience will come to me and say, hey, man, we're so grateful for your show because I was so cooped up in the house, I didn't have no place to go, and I wasn't laughing. I was sad. And I think one thing about it is that we were able to give them a platform and be grateful that they were still alive.
I love that because I get those DMs too, the inboxes just, hey, you guys still on today? It gave some people something to look forward to. So I think it was a give and take because not only did we enjoy it so much, and I know, speaking for myself, I love the platform.
Yeah.
To be able to just put word out there and let people know they're not alone.
Exactly.
Everything that we've talked about other people's journeys and, hey, this might be something you're going through. And you know what I mean?
Right.
And that is that's the best part of this whole thing. But I would get those messages too, like, wow, thanks. I was feeling like I was the only one dealing with this.
Right.
So it's just great on both sides of the fence, and I'm super grateful.
Yeah, and I think that keeps us healthy, right? It keeps us laughing, it keeps us joking, but also it keeps us serious as well. Yeah. And we kind of also had where the whole 6 feet, right? The whole 6 feet piece, the whole 6 feet thing was kind of like interesting because it was like, well, the measurement in regards to when someone sneezes and it dissolves in the air and then it just goes away.
And we followed the rules, and that was hard.
That was really hard.
So I don't know if you guys, and I'm going to let the cat out of the bag, but during our show last week, word got to us that somebody in the studio had gotten COVID.
Yeah.
So we had to shut down for 2 weeks. You kept going by yourself.
Right.
But we couldn't be anybody else here.
Yes.
So, and I remember the person didn't get, it was fine, didn't get very sick at that time, but we're like, man, we really have to shut everything down?
Yeah. I think,
and you were by yourself.
I have to say, I have to say
as
that
a caution, we had to follow the rules.
Right,
you know?
and it was cool because it taught me to see how to make sure that, to tell our guests, hey, we're going to do a phone call, right? Instead of coming in, right? Because we didn't want our guests to actually be nervous about it, but some people didn't care. They wanted to come in, right? You know what I mean? Because they're so used to, getting close to people's hearts, right? And going from there. So I think one of the things is that we continue to make it better. So let's read off a few comments.
I just looked over here too. So Patty chimed in. I'm gonna go from
What's
the
up, Patty Escobar?
Patty Escobar. She said the pandemic forced me to learn how to cook better. You know what?
Yeah.
I think a lot of us were like, we really need to re-up on the recipes because, baby.
Yeah.
I can only do beans and rice every day for so many days.
Right. Right.
I'm kidding.
Right.
But, it makes you look at your recipes.
Yes.
They're like, man, this is all I've been cooking for. Because you couldn't really go out to eat.
Yeah.
So those of us who would take a day, a week and go out to eat, that was done. Shut it down. New recipes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think,
there with you.
I have to say that, it's before we go to commercial break, I think for the most part, and John T. for Freeze checking in. What's up, John T.? Yes, thank you for, he said, thankful for self-checkouts during the holiday.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
That was good. And then he says, Friendsgiving don't give, what did he say? He said it doesn't have a dark past like Thanksgiving. Yeah, I hear
You're right.
Bro.
And I was going to talk about that too. Thanksgiving, which has evolved for me because as we become more aware of what the roots of that means.
Yes.
I've never sat at my table and talked about Columbus.
Right.
I've never sat at my table and talked about any of that stuff.
Right.
The only thing that ever mattered to me about Thanksgiving was that because the U.S. works the holidays, you have the days off, was being with my family.
Yeah.
And the more that we get into those roots and understanding exactly what happened during that time and how difficult it's been for some of us to celebrate.
Right.
I stay at peace that my only focus was ever family.
Yeah.
Just being at that table with my family and using that time to share recipes from the loved ones that have passed on, and that's what we do. For my Thanksgiving, I never sat there, and none of that other stuff ever crossed my mind as far as trying to celebrate it.
Yeah.
So I love the awareness level where we're at. I love that we're learning real history.
Yeah.
And I think we need to keep moving forward with that. Yeah. Friday is officially Indigenous Day.
Yes.
That's on the map.
Yeah, that's
so,
good.
We are getting exactly where we need to go
Yeah.
and learning corrected history. But I don't allow that to take your thankfulness away from having your family. We have a lot to be thankful for, and to me, that's what I celebrate.
All right. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick commercial break. All right, we'll be back in 30 seconds.
Cars will break down. Cars will break down. It's too late. And when they do, it's too late. If it leaves you with two choices, get stuck paying for expensive repairs, or one phone call to CarShield. Their administrators pay for your covered repairs so you don't have to. Your coverage includes roadside assistance, towing, rental, and so much more. Plus, with their nationwide network, you choose the mechanic or dealer. Best of all, there's coverage for every wallet size. Make the smart call before it's too late. Call CarShield today.
Yes.
Thank you for tuning in with us.
Thank you for tuning
Diana.
in.
And Diana says, thankful for life itself and being able to enjoy your show. Be blessed, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We
Diana.
love you for that. Thank
James
you.
Dunn giving us a thumbs up.
What's up, James Dunn?
Thanks for
Yes,
tuning in with
Hollywood
us, James.
style. Thank you, Papa. Thank you for checking in with us.
Yeah, and of course, John T.
John T for free, rocking it out. Thank you so much.
He
Thank
chimed
you,
in
guys.
about Friendsgiving. John T. also mentioned that, during the pandemic, it kind of pushed people to get outside of their comfort zone.
True.
He said it got us out of our comfort zone. And I agree with that because it did make you maybe look at things differently. People discover talents. You mentioned that several times on the show.
Of course. Yep.
Discovering new talents, spending time with yourself. Also, those reflections are hard, but you also learned new things about yourself too.
Yeah.
I like to paint.
Yeah.
I like to craft. I like, ceramics. I like to read. I like doing crossword puzzles. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I like to play video games.
Well, I think after a while
course,
it
you were
becomes
always a
repetitive.
gamer.
Yeah, I was a PS4 guy, but it was always thinking about what was next for me to be able to do. But also, I think a lot of people start learning that as an entrepreneur,
Yes.
podcasts have never been as big as what it is right now. Podcasts, because you were able to sit at home and you were able to express your thoughts and things that may come out, and people and YouTube and all of that, Netflix and Hulu and all of those streaming just blew up. Spotify
It did.
blew up. I mean, it was a situation where it was an overload of live streaming, but also,
Yes.
podcasts as well too, pre-podcasts as well.
And it's interesting to see. We'll see who sticks around with it.
So it dipped, right?
Yeah.
Because now that you're actually able to go outside now, right? It dipped because
Podcast,
also it takes
play
a lot.
basketball.
Yeah.
Podcast. I think I'm gonna go hoop for a
Well,
while.
high focus, right? Staying
Yeah.
focused as well too was key,
Yeah.
right? And if you didn't stay focused, then you were just doing it for the time being,
Right.
Right? And that's to us, it's not a time being; it's a forever. You know
Yeah,
what
I mean,
It's
we
like-
love what we do.
Exactly,
And
you
I
gotta
mean,
love what you do.
You can't knock people for passing the time, but those people will roll off. And another key word that you just mentioned right now is entrepreneurship.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people started their businesses. They
That's
started
correct.
to focus on things. We started thinking about different, revenue streams.
That's
we
correct.
were now in a situation
Yes.
where our standard 9-to-5s weren't working for us.
That's right.
So what are we going to do now, and how can we get some money going?
Yes.
And, you start thinking about that and, putting your head to the wall. And I know for me personally, and multiple revenue streams is always a way to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it helped a lot of us get through that.
I have to
You
say
know?
that entrepreneurship is a big deal, and also people are starting to have a hard time finding people for work.
And that's
right?
why.
Because of entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
right?
You were put in a position where you had to figure things out.
Yes.
And now you're like, I don't know if I could go back to doing that
That's
anymore
right.
when I know I can make money for myself.
That's right.
Doing it this way.
Yeah.
So I feel like, and it'll, just like with everything else,
Yep.
we'll see in a year from now how that resets.
Yes.
A lot of businesses will get started. Some will just, okay, that was just to get me through. I really do enjoy just going to work and going home. Because it's a lot
Exactly.
of work. Entrepreneurship is around the clock gigs.
So that was the first part. Yeah, so that was the first part, man. There's a lot to talk about with the pandemic because we've seen a lot, we've done a lot with
Right.
that, and we're grateful that we were able to pass that time and make things happen. So our next one, so we're gonna bring up our next one, which is actually the traditional of turkey, right? So
Oh!
yeah, yeah, Bible. Right. So when it comes to the tradition of turkey, right, and of course the pilgrims and the turkey and gobble gobble and all of that great stuff, but the real question is, over time, is turkey still the right tradition? Is turkey still on your table? Now, I'm not saying that it's a traditional thing,
Yeah.
but is it really still traditional? Are people moving away from turkey and going to other things now? We want to know I want to know what you guys
Yeah,
think. But I'm
who's
gonna tell you
making
what
what?
I'm gonna tell you what I think, and if you want to share your thoughts, that'd be
Okay.
great too. So, turkey, I was never a big turkey eater. I was never a big turkey.
No.
I was never a big turkey eater.
Oh, my goodness.
My mom would cook like the turkey, and it would look juicy, right? And it was juicy, but only on certain parts of the turkey. And my mom's a bomb cook. She can throw down, but
Maybe turkey wasn't
turkey
her.
wasn't.
Yeah. That's
But
not-
even other turkeys that I've tasted, there was just the dryness of it, right? And when I say traditional of turkey, this is a way of being able to get away from. Now, don't get me wrong. Not everybody's taste buds is like mine, and my taste buds is not like theirs, right? But I'm all about tasting, right? That's seco, yeah, right? And then I'm like, is turkey still a tradition
seco.
for you guys? I'm gonna say it was never really a tradition for me because I like Cornish hens, right? Cornish hens was a real big thing. Duck, was a good thing as far as for us. And also, you had just a regular, the things that surrounded. Now the dressing, of course, was a big thing, right? Dressing,
Right.
you have the mac and cheese, you have the string beans, you have all of that. That was actually part of the traditional way of eating food, right?
Right.
From the table. So what is it traditional still for you?
For me, I love turkey.
Okay.
But I take pride in my turkey. My turkey's bomb, I must admit. It
Okay,
really is.
okay.
My mother used to make her turkey every Thanksgiving was her thing. And maybe that's why it takes on such a great meaning for me, because she would be able to fly in, because those little days off.
Sure.
She'd be able to fly in and have Thanksgiving with us. My brother and I were, at the time, only ones here in Chicago.
Sure.
So, I watched her and I learned from her.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, my turkey's actually pretty good. So
Yeah?
I love
Okay,
it. Yeah.
okay.
So I get what you're saying, though. I have been places where it's just like, yikes.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying. It's just, what do you think that turkey does for you?
It does. I mean, to me, it's a recuerdo.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
I
course.
think about my mom. That was her thing. So that part's for her. I do another dish that's for my son. That was from his grandmother that passed away.
Okay.
And I learned how to cook it on his father's side.
Sure.
So I learned how to cook that for him.
Okay.
And I do that for him. So it's kind of a tradition thing for us. That's what we do. But, enter my husband.
Yeah.
So, one year he wanted to make, a pernil. He's Puerto
pernil.
Rican.
Right,
So
right,
he
pernil. Right.
And it was amazing. So I think people do the ham, they do the turkey,
The jamon, yeah.
He did the pernil that day.
Yeah.
Or that time, for, so I feel like even with other holidays like Christmas, Easter,
Yeah.
like those signature days.
Sure. Sure.
There's like, you bring out the big guns. And I think a lot of it is just cost.
Sure.
You
course,
kind of,
sure.
turkeys
Yeah.
are kind of expensive.
Well, they're giving turkeys away, too. I mean,
Well,
they do give turkeys
if you could
away.
catch it and get in line for, and
Yeah.
go get a turkey, I would love, I haven't had that opportunity to grab one for free.
Sure.
Although, I did one time, my brother's job was giving them away.
Okay.
They gave them away and we did have one. And I ended up making 2 that year. Just because we love turkey. But, I think it's a cost thing too. You'll put your money in it one time a year,
Sure.
you won't do it all times a year. So I think it's just each in its own.
Sure.
So people like to put their own little flavors, on, I think just whatever people do for ham is a big one, for
Ham, pineapple on top
cherry.
with the cherry.
Yep.
That's a
Simone.
tradition.
Oh, man.
And it never fails. That
so
is so
good.
good because I like slicing up the piece of ham, and I don't eat ham a lot.
I
right?
don't.
I
Well,
eat
I
ham
don't
a lot.
either. But I like it off the bone like that. That
Man,
cooked ham.
The seasoning.
Woof. And
Insane. That's all I gotta
really
say.
good.
It's insane. And then of course, have you ever had the ham sandwich? Do you eat a ham sandwich
next
too?
day we do too. I make enchiladas with turkey too. So
Oh, wow.
I make tacos
Enchiladas.
out of it.
So, but what about the ham though? So do you do ham
Ham.
sandwiches too?
Ham sandwiches next day. We'll
Yeah.
make ham and eggs.
Why does it have to taste so
So
good?
it's
on
just
the
like
next
it's
day?
so everything tastes. Thank you.
The
Everything
next day.
tastes so much better. the next
Leftovers
day.
are the bomb.
It's the bomb.
Leftovers. Leftovers
know
are the
if
bomb. And don't get me wrong, it tastes good then, but it's just that the mode that you're actually in during that time, and then it's like, hey, well, next, can't wait to eat this tomorrow, right? And then
Right.
you're ready to go.
Right. Well, like for Thanksgiving on that day, everybody eats pretty much all day. I mean, the food's done by the afternoon. You can eat until I don't close up shop. You know what I mean? You can eat all day, all night if you want. You know what I mean?
So speaking of that, because next day, because there's other pieces of food that is left over, which is either it's pies and cakes.
I do
cakes
bake.
and pies.
I do bake on
Okay,
Thanksgiving as
so
well. Mm-hmm.
what for me? My mom, German chocolate cake.
No.
German chocolate
I'm
cake.
sending my
all
husband
day.
over there.
Man,
That's his-
German chocolate cake.
And that is not my superpower, German chocolate.
Man, my mom been doing it ever since
Really?
she was young. Like,
Yeah.
it's a traditional thing ever since my grandma, my abuelita, she just throws down on the German chocolate cake. My mom has that touch. Like, I said, Mom, I don't know what you did. Did you lick your fingers before you put
I
it in
do
there? Because that's a sweet
pies
kiss.
for Thanksgiving.
So my mom also do pies as
I
well,
do
too. But
the
she
cherry,
only
the
does,
apple, the
You do the
blueberry.
apple?
You know
Okay.
what I mean? Like I do, I do
You do the blueberry,
I
too?
do a blueberry. I love blueberry pie.
Man, that's
and
crazy. I
then I'll
never
do
actually
a
really ate
like a
blueberry.
cherry cobbler style pie thing. It's huge, and that sucker was gone like before the night was up. But
Sounds like a Danish.
that's how much I bake, and I just do more pies than I do anything else for Thanksgiving.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, again, I've been following in my mom's footsteps in that. The one thing I can't get down, and I'm honest, is pumpkin pie. Help me, please. If anybody out there has a good recipe for pumpkin pie, I've not been able to execute on that.
Yeah, I don't do too much pumpkin pie. I do sweet potato though. Sweet potato pie. Oh yeah, sweet potato pie.
Okay.
So I'll do that. Sweet potato pie all day. Pumpkin pie, leave that for Halloween. I can't even do that.
It's Halloween.
Yeah, I can't do the pumpkin. It just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't dwell right with me. But pumpkin. So is it?
It
part
has
of
to be
the
made.
Fall? Is that really
pumpkin
part of?
pie?
Is that part of the
Yeah, just because
Thanksgiving
it's
tradition?
fall. I mean, fall. I just like pumpkin pie, but I just haven't been able to make it. It has to be made right.
Oh, I see.
Like when you can eat some things and you're like, it wasn't that great, but I don't like bad pumpkin pie. Like pumpkin pie has to be done right. It's like tres leches. Tres leches has to be made right in order for it to be. You just can't do a bad job with that.
Yeah, you can't. If you mess up tres leches, something wrong with the milk. Because that should not be wrong.
Right. I mean, it can't be too wet and spongy, but it can't be too dry either. It's like got to be that great combination, like tiramisu. Yeah. Tiramisu has to be made perfect.
Yeah.
Whereas like maybe you might not dig someone's, cupcakes or whatever, but they're like, it wasn't that great, but it wasn't bad. I'll eat it.
Have you ever been to somebody's house and they had cupcakes for dessert on Thanksgiving? Have you ever had that?
So
I've seen pictures of it, but I never actually did.
I think people get creative with that stuff.
Okay.
So I think it's more like
I think there's more
fall flavors.
Oh, okay.
Like.
But I'm talking about for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, for Thanksgiving, for fall. I think they do like their own little twist on it. I've not really done cakes or anything like that. I don't know if that's a culture thing or, you know what I mean? Like
you go to somebody else, they got cupcakes. I don't know. If you go to somebody else and they actually have cupcakes there, it's a tradition. It must be a family thing. I don't know. I've never had that.
I've never had cupcakes or anything. I mean, or maybe so. I mean.
I never actually had that.
Somebody made these apple bars things
Uh-huh.
one time, man, and they were bomb. Okay. But like, I would never think to do. But again, like I said, I just kind of follow what my mom did. But I'm not opposed to it. Shoot, bring me some cupcakes and I'll be all right.
That's cool.
I'm okay with cupcakes. Anything sweet. What do you think, Patty? She's chiming in on food. Have you had anybody, or John C., have you had anybody ever bring cupcakes or cake? Well, you said your mom makes German chocolate cake.
Well, cupcakes, that's a totally different story that you're not referring to.
No, I'm just saying,
cake.
But I've never had anybody bring cupcakes. But I don't think it's a bad thing.
Okay.
I don't think there's ever a bad thing when it comes to food.
Well, no, I mean, but cupcakes, when you bring up cupcakes, I guess if you eat cupcakes, that's good. I guess the type it is. All right, everybody, we're gonna get to commercial, but I got something special for you guys, right? Because we're gonna shift over, everybody. We're gonna shift over to something you're gonna actually like. All right, here's our commercial. We'll see you back.
We'll be right back.
Foreclosures are surging as COVID mortgage bailouts expire. You don't have to lose your home. We can help. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, threatened with foreclosure, denied a loan modification, or have been the victim of a predatory loan, the Stop Foreclosure Group can help save your home. Remember, you have rights and we have options. For a no-obligation consultation, call 1-888-245-1532.
So,
hey.
We can't see you guys, but hopefully, hopefully.
Can they see us now?
Yeah, hopefully they can actually see us. Hopefully they can see us good enough.
We're on. Hello.
Are we on? How
yes,
we look?
We are.
We look good.
We look good. I am standing here in Rico's kitchen. Super excited.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we want to make sure that you guys can actually see us well. Hopefully the lighting is good. Let's make sure that the lighting, everything is good for you guys to actually see what we look like as well. So hopefully you guys actually love this segment here. Of course, there's always a traditional way of, making food, right? And one thing for me is that food is very important when it's time to really eat very well. So I want to make sure that you guys actually are going to enjoy as we adjust this. We want to do this like real quick for you guys because we want to make sure there was something really special for you guys to actually like and love what we do.
Absolutely, you guys. We're in Rico's kitchen.
Right.
Hey! Whole other show. We'll talk about that another time. So we were talking about, different traditions and dishes that dishes that come out during the season.
Yes.
So do you always stick to a main menu, or do you kind of branch out and try different things?
Well, man, I like to try. I always like to try different things as well. I mean, when it comes down to cooking, I think, when it comes down to how, us as people like different international things, right?
Well,
meaning international when it comes to cooking. I always like to do something different.
That's good, but because you always have those people who just want the same thing. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You didn't make that this year?
Right.
I waited all year for that.
Right.
And I know that happens.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if you were like, okay, here's the main things that we always cook.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to branch out and make one or two different things. So
yeah.
Do you do something different every year?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I do something pretty much every year because as you may know, I have the spinoff of my cooking show, right?
Yes, sir.
So of course there's always, things of spices, and also because of different international foods that I love to cook when it comes to like Pakistan, Mediterranean,
Right.
Italian, of course, Latin, and all of that great stuff. I think one of the biggest things is making sure that when I'm actually cooking, I let them know that, hey, this is the love of the community. This is the love of, the people in the village, right? The people as far as where they're like, oh my God, this is what we eat from the street food standpoint,
Okay,
right?
so you like authentic neighborhood style food.
All day. All day.
Right, okay.
All day. All day.
So this year, what country were you visiting for Thanksgiving?
So this one is a Portuguese, right?
Wow.
This is a Portuguese mixed with kind of Japan, right?
Like a fusion.
It's a fusion,
Okay.
yeah. So it's actually a Portuguese type, like, how can I say it? It's called Macau, chicken and rice baked, but it's a Portuguese dish from Brazil.
Wow.
Right? But it actually has a kind of a Japanese flavor to it, right? And when it has kind of like Japanese flavor to it, it's really good. So right now I'm heating this up because I already made everything already, and I put it together. But it's with potatoes. It's actually have cocoa, right? Coconut, right?
Wow.
So it has coconut milk in it, as well as curry, as well as onion powder. And then, of course, I have diced onions, which dissolves, right? Dissolves as well, too. I have turmeric as well. So turmeric is also,
Which is like
that get that color.
It's
but
like
it's
a
that seasoning.
staple Mediterranean flavor, right?
Yeah.
Would you say that?
So turmeric gives a nice little color, but
Okay.
it also gives a nice flavor to your meat, as well as like curry, right? Curry. I'm not a big curry fan, but it's unless it's Stephen Curry from the Warriors, right? No, I'm not a big curry
I had a
fan,
feeling
right?
that was coming. But I did hear about curry. We're talking about spices, and we also touch on wellness.
Yeah.
Turmeric and curry, I hear, is really good for memory.
Okay. Yes.
For
yes.
like brain food. So
Yes.
when you sprinkle a little in your food, it's supposed to help memory retention, and
yep.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
As you age.
Correct.
A little something for you.
That's right. and it's good that you say
Yeah.
that because it's all about health and wellness, right?
Right,
And wellness, right? Being aware for your health as well. So I think that's another great thing of why there's certain spices, right, that you actually want to make sure that you pay attention to. So I have this one, right? This is actually a Chinese or Japanese cooking wine.
Wow.
So this was actually for my marinade. So I
is
used
that
this.
rice-based wine or what kind?
Yes, it's a rice
Okay.
cooking wine. Yeah,
Nice.
that's everything from an Asian standpoint, Japanese, Chinese. They use a lot like rice vinegar, right, as well as rice cooking wine. And for something like this is actually can be used for a marinade, right? So this is what I use.
Question, because I know somebody out there has to be wondering it too. Can you drink that wine?
No,
Or is that
no,
just
no,
for
no,
cooking?
don't do that. Don't. Yeah, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that.
One for the chicken,
Yeah.
one for me.
Yeah,
one for
don't-
the chicken, one for
Yeah,
me.
you don't want to hurt
So,
yourself,
okay.
right? You don't want to hurt yourself.
So-
This is for cooking, cooking only. You don't want to be boiling in your stomach, right?
Had to ask. You know, because I wasn't sure. People always, I know when you see like in the movies and stuff, people grab wine as like a marinade, and
Yeah.
I'm like, is that just any old regular wine you have in the house, like, or is it a special cooking wine? So thank you for clarifying.
Yeah,
that.
so that's something that you can only find this like in an international out, or you go to a real Asian or Chinatown, right?
it.
Chinatown will also have something like this. And definitely you need to look at the label because sometimes it's not in English,
Oh, wow.
right? Sometimes it's just basically in their language. So you have to be able to match everything together to make sure, hey, is this right? Or ask someone there.
Ask a question.
Yeah, ask the question and go from there, right? So, as this is basically, I think this should be ready. So I want to show you guys before. This has actually been cooked.
Wow.
So let me show you guys this. So this is actually has been cooked. So this actually has chicken thighs. It has, as you can see, the turmeric as well as the curry. It actually gives that flavor. I also
That
have
looks
eggs in there too.
amazing. It looks amazing.
So what I'm gonna do is, of course, they want you to top it with cheese. So I have to put some cheese on top.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have to get the cheese because the cheese makes it cheesier, right? So I'm actually going to add. Let me see.
I love
if I
that
can
you
add-
cooked it without the cheese because there are some people who aren't cheese fans. So
Well,
they'll be able to eat it without it. And then you can kind of decide whether or not you want to top it with cheese when you reheat it, right?
Well, it ain't easy being cheesy. You know what I mean? So, it ain't easy being cheesy.
Let me
I'm
get out
sorry,
of
let me
your
get on
way.
there. So, what happens is that I actually have my oven on broil. So, I'm going to actually use a sharp cheddar cheese here, and I'm going to actually bring that right on top here, and this is going to actually melt. Now, of course, I have the coconut, and we're going to have this going for at least 10 minutes.
That
So I
looks
want to
great.
show you exactly what it actually looks like before I put this in the oven, and then you guys can actually answer the next question. So I'm going to actually put this in. Now I have it on broil, so you can actually have this on for 500 degrees. So put this here.
I'm going to go to a comment. So
Sure.
John T. for free. John apparently heard my comment about the wine while I was asking
Okay.
if it is a typical wine that you can actually cook with as well as drink. So we found out from Rico that it's not a drinking wine.
Yeah, you don't
don't
wanna
drink
do-
the cooking wine, okay? Note
Yeah,
to
you
self.
don't want to do that.
So
you don't want
John
to do that
T
to
says,
yourself.
well, it might not be healthy. I can tell you it will get you drunk.
In a special
I don't
way.
know how to ask how you know this information, John.
Right.
But I think you and I, we can get together. I would love to hear the story. So Patty Escobar also tuned in and says that turmeric is also really good for inflammation. I put
Okay.
it in with my tea with ginger.
Good.
Yeah, I mean, have barely, recently learned about the world of turmeric and curry. Curry
Sure.
is another one as well.
Curry, yeah.
In that same family that, inflammation and it helps you with memory. And it's just really, really good health-wise. And a little goes a long way, correct?
It does.
Because it's this bag of spice.
Yeah.
But just a tiny bit will change the color of your entire food. Kind of like sazon.
Pretty much. Like anything
like
of a
sazon.
sazon.
Yeah, anything with the
cilantro
with the
and whatever you
colors
have
in
that
it,
in there. Yep.
It'll change the color of it.
But it also gives you that flavor, though. It gives you that flavor. It gives you that sabor, right? It gives you that flavor of what you want to put in there. Now, I also make turkey wings. So speaking of what we talked about, the tradition of turkey, turkey wings are also coming as a tradition as well, too. Because the turkey
Wow.
wings itself, that the ones that I make, it actually has like the chicken broth with the cebolla, the onions, and then also it has the corn, the starch as well too to make it thick.
When you
as well.
cook the cebolla, do you like caramelize it or melt it down?
So this is
or
all
is it
within,
fresh?
it's fresh.
Okay.
So then you let that all dissolve, and then of course it gets tender. Now that stays in the oven with the cast iron for at least an hour and a half. So you leave that there for like 400 degrees, and then that actually, man, everything goes
and I
well.
love turkey, so that
Turkey wings?
Yeah, the wings, like.
Oh man, I think turkey
Ala
wings.
mi vida.
Right, I think the wings itself will turn your life around. Right, I think that will turn your life around because the turkey wings are actually really, really good.
I would love to try that.
Oh man.
So let me ask another question, circling back to this dish that you're making. What made you decide to do this style dish, Portuguese?
So this
Brazilian.
one, so I've always loved Brazilian food, right? But also when I had the taste test of this, when I actually did it myself when cooking this, and I also cooked this for my cooking show. Of course, I love coconut. So the coconut, and you'll taste the coconut.
See, that's
in
a
here.
big
That's
twist for me.
Yeah, and that one because also think about it, Brazil and Caribbean.
Right.
Right.
Those
Mixed
tropical
with, and
flavors.
then also this has soy sauce in it as
Yeah.
well. Right. So I put a little bit of dash of soy sauce to give that Asian flavor with the Brazilian Caribbean flavor as well, and it's so good.
Wow.
Right. It's really good.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm sure all of you are excited.
Yeah,
The
it's-
smells in here are amazing. So it smells amazing. You know, like when you smell that good cooking, I know it. We've got a great dish ahead of us.
Yeah.
I was just a little bit intrigued that when I asked you what you were going to make,
Sure.
you were pulling those countries out of your hat.
Yeah.
So the Asian flair, what gives it the Asian flair?
So remember, Asian, of course, I have the jasmine rice, right? The jasmine rice as well as the soy sauce and the fried egg. So I
you
have
didn't
the
mention
egg.
soy sauce.
Yeah, so soy sauce. Yeah, I just had a
Oh,
touch of
okay.
soy sauce, just a touch of soy
Nice,
sauce,
okay.
right?
And the egg.
So and the egg, right? Because that's what they usually do as far as with fried rice, right?
Right.
So it's kind of that tradition. But then the chicken thighs also. The chicken thighs can also go Brazil as well as Asian, as well, because they also use chicken thighs, and that's that dark meat, which is more flavorful,
That
right?
sounds
Than
amazing.
chicken breast, right? I mean, chicken breast is good, but the chicken thighs just makes it, the texture
Yeah.
come out even more.
Thighs are a little bit more flavorful
Yeah,
and juicy.
yeah.
I love cooking with the thighs, but I have to say I'm a little bit green when it comes to Brazilian food. I can't say that I've had a lot of experience with Brazilian food, but thank you for the introduction.
Yeah.
Because now I'm going to have to explore.
You have to explore.
That
You definitely have to
area.
explore at least some great food with Brazilian, right? Especially with the Brazilian food, it really takes you to a different level. But when you start fusing it, you start really understanding the spices, and you start understanding how to mix things together.
Yeah, people are coming up with all different kinds of fusion foods
Yeah.
nowadays. And
Yeah.
it's like, what makes you understand what will mesh well together? Do you just go by what you like? Like, oh, I like this, I like this. Let's put it together and see what
You
it
can do that
does.
too. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's good. Yeah,
Is
you
that
can do-
something how you kind of decide that?
Yeah,
or-
I mean, I think it's more of looking at different other like cultures and how they do it. And when you see how they do it, then you're like, oh man, that's cool. And then you throw your own spice. See, I'm not a spicy type guy, so I
Okay.
don't like spicy stuff. But if it has a little kick to it, it might work. You know, it might work as well too. So
Is that Tia Juarez? I'd love to participate. We would love for you too. Why don't you give
Tia
us a shout out?
Juarez.
Let us know what you're thankful for.
yes. And that goes to the next question too. So
Yeah.
I'll continue while you're looking
Okay.
at that. So we want to know what are you going to eat for Thanksgiving? So please let us know as this is actually finishing. We're going to go over just a little bit. I know we're over a little bit as far as with time. We'll probably go over a little bit 5 minutes because I want to show you this dish. But let us know as far as what you are going to eat or what are you going to cook for Thanksgiving. We
Tell
definitely
us.
want
We
us
would
to know.
love to know. What are your traditions?
Yes.
What are some dishes that you make every year? Is it just that, and making them once a year makes people look forward to them.
Yeah.
You're
yes.
like, oh, I can't wait till, Thanksgiving. I feel like we need to give that a new name.
What's that?
A day of thanks.
A day of thanks.
Yeah, so
I like
I
the day
can't
of
wait
thanks.
till the day of thanks to be able to be thankful to my mom or my grandmother
sorry.
or my tia or my uncle, whoever's cooking.
Right. Right.
For them to make their special dish. And I
Right.
think that is just part of pouring your love into the food and, sharing it with the people at the table.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm going to grab something from the drawer here so we can make sure that, we present it well. And then, of course, it's almost ready to go. So,
Yes.
of course, I want, of course, you to taste this and tell me what you think.
Me? Well, I suppose I could.
Right.
Do
Right.
I have somewhere I gotta be, and I'm okay.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to, when you're eating food, but let us know. Hopefully they'll let us know as far as what they actually have and what they're going to actually be making for themselves, because that would be cool just to see exactly what you guys are going to make, and then we will go from there.
So Matt tuned in and said green bean casserole and tofurkey. Did I say that right? I almost sound like I'm saying a bad word.
Say it again.
Tofurkey. So it's tofu.
Oh,
turkey.
Turkey. Okay, for vegetarians.
For
maybe.
yeah.
Tofu, right?
Interesting.
Tofurkey. Okay.
Tofu
Well, that
turkey. Okay.
Got me on
well,
that
the
one.
tofurkey
Okay.
just like
All right.
I had to pause a minute because I thought I was cussing somebody out.
Yeah.
So I had to, kind of reel that back in and re-say that.
Well, that's
so
tofurkey.
It's tofu turkey.
Okay.
Now, have you ever cooked anything with tofu before?
No, but I've eaten it with like pad thai.
Okay.
Tofu. Yeah. And tofu is good.
It's basically
really
whatever
good.
it's cooked in, right? It's
Yeah.
just the flavors of whatever's around it. Is that how that works?
Yeah, I mean, I think whatever you can make tofu taste like they have like tofu nuggets, right?
Wow.
Like you can actually have like tofu dishes that's really really good.
Tofu is
you can
really
even have
evolved.
like a sesame Asian tofu dish
Wow.
over rice, and I've tasted that before once. It was good. It was really good. You would never think that vegetarian food or vegan food would actually taste like real like meat. You would think that it was like, man, this almost tastes like chicken, and it's a really great thing, right? It's a really great thing. So I'm gonna check on
Jesus.
this. What happened?
Better than sex cakey.
Who said that?
What is now is sex cakey an actual thing? I need John or Matt to tune in and let us know. Is sex cake key an actual dish? Or is that, are you making a comment?
Who's making that comment?
Matt says it's better than sex cakey. It's a chocolate caramel cake. Oh, it really is a cake.
What?
Sex cake key.
Well, Matt, thank you so much.
Very nice.
We
It's a family recipe.
Yeah, we appreciate that, right?
Matt72, if you want to send us in your sex cakey, I would love to try it. I had to make sure I split that sentence up into two parts because, but you had me at chocolate cake. So
And caramel, especially
and caramel.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
caramel.
I think we'd be okay
got
with
me
that.
on the caramel.
John T. for Free's like, it's a trap. I know. I think they're just laughing at me saying sex cakey. But that's
All right,
okay.
So let's shift it over to some chicken.
Next show.
Right? After midnight. Right.
For the grown and sex cakey.
Yeah, you got me on that one. So this is what it looks like, everybody, at the end. So hopefully you're able to see this. So this is really good.
Can we get that camera on?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's get that. So
You see how that's nice and brown?
yeah, so the broiled piece makes it nice and crispy.
So how do you stop it from burning?
You have one thing is that you have to watch your food, right? You gotta watch first.
Well, you
right?
seem like you were so nonchalant. You were talking, and so you timed it
We do
well.
have a timing. We have a
So
timing. When we're
you're-
cooking, we have a timer going while we're talking.
Okay.
Right? So
That
I
just
do have
seems
a
so
clicking.
perfectly done, you guys. This looks like a picture. It looks like a picture. It's very well made.
So let's dig in. So before we get out of here, everybody, and if you are watching and you are wanting to know this recipe, just let me know, and then we'll go from there.
Wow.
Okay. So I have just a little bit of food that I'm going to give to Valerie so she can test that, right? Test it. Oh! Oh! Yeah, so she can
And then
it.
you gotta drop it on the floor, and that's how you do it.
I won't be using that again, I tell you that.
goodness.
Thank God I'm doing this as far as live so you guys can know that there are bloopers that actually happens.
See how nice and that cheese is just perfect.
Yes. All right. So
Smells amazing.
So we want to say happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you. Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you guys so much for actually being so.
This
Hopefully,
cuts so easily.
yes, and that's the objective. So, yeah, that's good. I like that. It's really good. Yeah. Brazil, thank you.
Brazil.
It's really good.
Definitely
So-
a country I need to explore. This
So-
is really good.
We won't be chewing in your, we won't be chewing in your ear. Because they're like, man, please, they need to stop this.
Okay, I should remember. It's really good.
But we got to get out of here, everybody. We hope that you guys had a
Amazing.
great time with us here
Amazing.
on the show. We want to say happy Thanksgiving. Yes, and we will go over our social media. So you see www.riconosuaveshow.com is where you'll find more information about us. So please don't forget to go there. Here's our next one. We got our Instagram. Make sure you go to Rico No Suave Show right now. Right? Go to Rico No Suave Show.
Right now.
Go
Follow.
there right now. Yes, follow us there. Here's our next one. Our next one is our Facebook. Yes. We'll see how long this lasts. Rico No Suave Show on Facebook. Go ahead and like.
Love, love, love.
All day, every day. That's what she said. All right, here's our next one in YouTube, everybody. Yes, that is our YouTube. So make sure you please go to our YouTube channel. Check out our YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Do it right now. And here's
Watch
our last
other
one.
episodes. There's plenty up there as well.
Exactly.
Mixcloud.
Mixcloud.com/Rico No Suave Show. That after this, it turns into a podcast. So please make sure you go ahead and do that as well. All right, everybody. We want to thank you guys so much. We want to say happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you guys. And we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your time with your family and friends. And from all of us here on the Rico No Suave Show, we're grateful for you.
Grateful for
and
you.
your support. Until next time, everybody. We'll see you
Enjoy.
guys later.
Bye-bye.
As we end off the show, Jazz.
Over? I don't think so, party people. We gotta keep this thing going.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the end. We'll be back with more special guests every Saturday, right here at the Rico No Suave Show. Same Rico No Suave time, same Rico No Suave website. Dale.